I keep asking myself, what is it about this time or these times that make certain American citizens doing things that they do? And me out here on, around Skid Row, I'm seeing so much that maybe the average person doesn't see. And in fact, right here in the Bay Area, Oakland, there are some radio stations around where similar people expressing similar views and attitudes that I'm just wondering, how did we get to this position? Now, I think citizens are getting things mixed up with government and church and family and all that. We saw where Governor Schwarzenegger, he had said that, we could balance our books at home, our checkbooks, therefore you could balance the state books. The difference between the state and your home, you just get an income, you got to work with that. The state could borrow money, um, it could raise taxes, it could do a whole bunch of things. So, it's a difference. Now, every government does things that, is beyond the pale. And, for one to be in that situation and don't like it, just retire and go. But to go and tell others about it and make a big noise and put into a media that spreads it around the world and with the repercussions, I find it's unfortunate. But here we have Bradley Manning, we have um, uh, the, the NSA employee Snowden, we have WikiLeaks, we have uh, this guy here. Uh, we have Greenwald and all these people. Man, they're talking some stuff and it's like, I mean, they're talking about they're being honest and they're gonna do the right thing and trying to protect citizens and all this kind of stuff. I mean, to make a long story short, if America was to do things that a lot of these people suddenly come to think that needs to be done, and we slip from a superpower into some of the third world fiefdom, then there's gonna be another problem. They can't get these various monies they get to go to school, they can't get welfare, they can't get food stamps, and then there's gonna be another. So, I mean, Manning is trying to present himself as a naive guy who, wanted to do the best and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you don't do stuff like that. That, man, last week, money, I had all kinds of stuff. And he wants to know how he's stranded in the airport now. He did reveal stuff that the government is doing. And I mean, if he and others weren't naive, they would know that these things were happening. I mean, I don't have no big, I ain't working for any NSA or something, see people around. I mean, got to be that they're on your phone, your internet, and all that stuff, so you don't say stuff that you don't want them to know about. I mean, if somebody calls you up, and a matter of fact, you better don't get no calls and calling people about the place now, you know what I mean? So, to go on, some of these guys around here, for example, they'll be talking things like, oh, we want to have slumlord labor, these sweatshop labors. And the reason why we're not producing it here in America is because it's too expensive. And if we were to produce it here, a lot of people wouldn't be able to afford it. Now, coming from the third world, I know living in Trinidad, the Trinidad government warned an American business that came down there saying that you cannot pay these people here the way you pay in the United States. We understand the American law and all that stuff we got to work with, but you can't do that because this is a minimum wage. That's like, well, the government ministers are making, big people, big doctors making that kind of money. And all you're going to do is create problems because everybody would want to work there now. The fighting, the killing of one another so as to get a job, the next day and all kind. There's so much problems. So they end up paying what is being paid in that country. And so these young people around here are saying that we should be paying them some real good wages. Well, why not do it here? Why sent over there? You're sent over there to take advantage of the comparative advantage in which they have. The standard of living is low, and you get a good quality product because you have your quality controls in there, and so on. They're talking some other stuff, man. It's like, I don't know what they're really talking about. Some of them even talking that, the Mexicans come over and take over all the jobs, and they don't have nothing to, again, then they come back and start fussing like, oh, look this and all of that. And I think the government is competent to do a lot of things that they're doing. And I mean, I have problems with NSA. I mean, they on my case. But if I were working for them, I discovered this is what they're doing to me, I will quit. I won't go and spread nothing because it's obviously these are things that the government wants to keep secret. And if you're going to talk about it, you'll have some kind of consequence. Coming up against Robin, this, to my mind, this and a whole variety of other things that people do and shows there's a level of immaturity. And the question is that how people came to this position. I know certain people that they train, they have a special way to train the kids. This thing was experimental, and look what it's doing. And nobody's saying like, hey, we better change things and do things different when the kids are coming up. Nobody's checking to find like why people are doing this stuff they're doing. The piercing themselves, the putting ring in the nose like if they're cows, the dressing like if they live from India. I mean, they're off the chain, putting a bunch of tattoo on themselves, you know, going and sit down to stop the commerce in the country. Man, this is amazing. And all I could say that, well, I mean, my regular thing is that evil is unprecedented because the Bible talks about in the end time there's coming a time of trouble such as never was. And these people I know they want to abuse the minorities and poor folks because what they're looking for is a difficult and hard country, economy hard, and when they can't get all these things they want, then there's another case in hand. So I think that some way, somehow, there's an immaturity that is being supported by a lot of things. You see, these parents start up the kids with Halloween, and then they leave them to watch these little cartoons, and they figure that the people that making these cartoons are their friends and that are patriotic people. These people want to bend these kids' minds out of control so as to get them doing worse things that they have done so far. It's only because of God and certain other restraints why they haven't done the ultimate things. And we head in there. So I think we need to go back and reassess how we really train up our kids to avoid future things. But this thing is real silly. And I think Manning and Snowden, all these fellas are showing a level of stupidity and immaturity that it should be preached and teach that this is not smart and that you need to operate different and know the difference between things you could change and things you can't change, and take it in your teeth and just go away. Whichever one you want to do. You want to have problems, go ahead. If you want to have some peace, go ahead too,